Hare Krishna, welcome to all of you. So we are continuing our reading this time from the uh, light of the Bhagavat, and I hope to be able to slowly develop this into some other type of a discussion.
Can I read, Maharaj?
Yeah.
A crane stands on the edge of a pond that is always disturbed by flowing water, mud, and stones. The crane is like a householder who is disturbed in the shelter of his home, but who, because of too much attachment, does not want to change his position. The forgetful householder life of the conditioned soul is a soul killing dark well. This is the opinion of Sri Prahlad Maharaja, the celebrated devotee of the Lord. Too much attachment for hearth and home is never recommended by a self realized soul. Therefore, the span of human life should be methodically divided. The first stage is called the Brahmacharya Ashram or the life in childhood, when the man to be is trained in the ultimate goal of life. The next stage is the Grahastha Ashrama, in which the man is trained to enter into the transcendence. Then comes the Vanaprastha Ashrama, the preliminary stage of renounced life. The last stage recommended is the Sannyasa order or the renounced order of life. In this way, one accepts a gradual process of spiritual activities for the ultimate goal of liberation. Unfortunately, for want of sufficient culture of the human spirit, no one wants to give up the householder life, even though it is full of pinpricks and mud. And those who are too attached amidst the pinpricks of muddy householder life are compared to the cranes that stand on the bank of the river for some sense enjoyment, despite all the inconveniences there. We should always remember that the society, friendship, only shadowy representation of the real society, friendship, and love reciprocated in the kingdom of God. There is no reality in the conditioned life of material existence, but because of our ignorance, we are attached to the marriage. The idea of society, friendship, and love is not at all false, but the place where we search for it is false. We have to give up this false position and rise to the reality. That should be the aim of life, and that is the result of cultivating the human spirit. Unfortunately, for want of sufficient culture of this spirit, the materialistic man always sticks to this false place in spite of all these turmoils. It is said that a man should give up the order of householder life at the age of 50. But in this era of ignorance, even an old man wants to regenerate his bodily functions, put on artificial teeth, and make a pretense of youthful life, even on the verge of death. Cran like politicians, especially, are too much attached to the false prestige of position and rank, and so they always seek reelection, even at the fag end of life. These are some of the symptoms of an uncultured life. Hare Krishna.
So Bhagavatam makes amazing analogies. There is no question of compromising the utterance in the Bhagavatam. Some people may take it, some people may not take it. But the Bhagavatam speaks the bland truth. So here, the Grahastha is compared to a stoke standing at the muddy waters of the side of the river. And what is it standing there for? In spite of it being muddy, in spite of it being swirling with all sorts of things, he is looking for his little enjoyment. One fish will come by and he can snap it. He can poke down and snap it. And that's what he's waiting for. I'm sorry, I'm putting up a video because I'm traveling and sometimes you may not get me through. So That one catch here and there, it means that sense gratification. The fact that he has got fishes and crabs once in a while coming along, and he's waiting very expectantly for that. He is willing to tolerate the muddy waters, the swirling, this thing, and all that situation for that little catch that he will get. So sometimes we wonder whether the investments that we make for seasoned, consistent enjoyment in the form of married life, whether it is worth it, whether you're really getting something equivalent to the investment that you've made. So the Bhagavatam says, don't be in illusion thinking that this is going to be permanent. You have made your investment, but neither is it going to be permanent, nor is it really going to be worth, and your expectations and all will not come to the point. So here, Prabhupada is speaking extensively in his purport about the absolute realm and the relative realm. It keeps coming out everywhere. We are all meant for absolute enjoyment. Prabhupada says society, friendship, family, love, and all that. He's saying it's not that we are saying it should not be there, it's good. It's about relationships and enjoyment coming out of relationships. In other way, the soul is a relational entity. Soul is a relational entity. In other words, it means that having relationships give meaning to the existence of the soul. And relational activity gives pleasure. In the material world, the relational activities that the soul performs are all temporary. Not only are they temporary, they're also not very fulfilling many a time. It makes you morose. It's always under-delivered and over-expected. You know, the phrase under-delivery is not as good as we expected or we were dreaming about or we were thinking about. And it's under-delivered and over-expected. So this way you will see that it's not fulfilling. But Prabhupada is saying the alternative is the same thing, society, friendship, love, exists in the spiritual realm. And there it is fulfilled. One thing is fulfillment. Fulfillment means completely satisfied. Yayatma suprasiddhati is explained nicely in the Bhagavatam. That will happen only when one is situated in relationship with God and thereby related to everybody else and everything else. Every other relationships that we are pursuing now in the material world will automatically fall in line as a relationship when we have relationship with God functioning. It's a foundational relationship. You see, when you get married, say somebody gets married, this is about Grahastha life, so I'm using this, analogy of marriage. If you get married, immediately you get so many relatives. All your wives, brothers, sisters, cousins, and all of them become your relatives too. And all of your siblings and everybody else becomes your wife's relatives too. Instantly, you get so many meaningful relatives and relationships. That's why sometimes in a marriage, I used to watch often here and there. As a sannyasi, I don't normally go to marriages, but sometimes I go when it is a person who is very important to us and dear friend or is a devotee. Then I can see that people are getting to know each other from either side. They are all getting to meet each other and get to know, oh, you're related like this, like that, like this. I know this person, that person, all very nice to know you. This, that. They're all meeting together and establishing relationships. And it's a very joyous occasion for that reason. In other words, when you get married, automatically you become related to so many people whom you did not know otherwise. Same way as a crude example, but when you get to be awakening your devotion to Krishna, when you establish a relationship with Krishna, which is very meaningful, instantly you're related with everything else, everybody else, because Krishna is a central nodal point for all relationships. This is the foundational mistake in relationships that people don't know. Relationships break because they are devoid of the central nodal structure. They are devoid of the most important foundation, that is relationship with God, relationship with the absolute truth, relationship with Krishna. And then automatically all other relationships are hanging on that. They all become meaningful. Without Krishna, without relationship with God, the absolute truth, you'll see all other relationships require a lot of work, and they're all temporary, they're all touch and go, and it becomes too cumbersome. Sometimes people renounce this world of false relationships simply out of fatigue in trying to maintain relationships. It's called relationship fatigue. In the material world, people are overcome with that. Somehow, sometimes people, some good karma is there, they maintain here and there some flashes of good relationships. But that ends. It comes to an end. Either way, people die. So it comes to an end. It comes to a sad end, right? But imagine if the relationships were to last forever. They were very deep and they were spiritual and they were very meaningful. And they keep growing and growing and growing without any limit. Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purna Amritaswadanam. Amritaswada, nectarian taste. Imagine how it would be if it is like that. That is the invitation Krishna gives. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru. Establish a relationship with me, and a whole lot of possibilities open up. Right? So Grahastha life is a school of knocks. In Grahastha life, you learn that all these relationships really are very painful to maintain. And it's lots of challenges. And then you actually think it's not worth it at the end of it. But that happens only if you have some spiritual insight. But if you don't have any spiritual insight, if you don't have any association with the sadhu, then you are lost. You're just stuck like the stork on the bank of the river, wandering and wandering and wandering and going behind small crabs and fishes and crabs until one day you fall down dead. You didn't achieve the purpose of life. You didn't actually get to pursue what you should. So think about it. The lonely stork, with the one standing on one leg and eking out a living, or the vibrant swan, Hamsa, making a majestic landing and a takeoff and enjoying life in a completely different way. Om Tat Sat. That's for Fantastic Fridays, first evening session thinking that you could all do. Hare Krishna. Any quick question? We started with reading the beautiful book called Light of the Bhagavat, a series of wonderful commentaries given by Prabhupada on a particular chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. It's very interesting. So we've been reading that and we've been commenting on that. Okay, that's for your information. You're free to join. We will be able to give you the light of the Bhagavat maybe in soft format. Otherwise, you can order it with us and we will try to deliver it to you. It's actually a chapter of the Bhagavatam that Prabhupada separately commented on. It's a description of the autumn rains in Vrindavan. It's a very highly poetical and also deep commentary of nature, comparing it to the human situation in the world. Extremely interesting. And Prabhupada composed this for a big conference in China somewhere, social conference or something. And he was not able to go. So they published it as a book. And in fact, a Chinese lady has illustrated it in full Chinese painting. And that's the cover of a book. Even in Malayalam, we have produced it. It's all Chinese looking Krishna, Chinese looking Gopas and Gopis and everything. It's very beautiful painting. So, wishing you all the best. Today is Prabhupada's disappearance day. Today is the day when Prabhupada left this world. So, we pray to Prabhupada that he will shower his blessings on all of you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Thank you.
Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna
Thank
Maharaj.
you.